Om Nityanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisam Tattvamasya Adilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Before we start Gita, let us first salute to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Madhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. I salute unto you, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Guru, Master of the world, Son of Vasudeva, Supreme Bliss of Devaki, Destroyer of Kamsa and Chanura. I bow down to you. Last session, we've been speaking about Krishna initiating Arjuna into the tattva of enriching. And Bhagavan is saying, anything you see, anything you experience is extension of you. So, enrich others. Others are not others, they are part of you. This was what yesterday, last session we were speaking about. Also, Bhagavan gave the story of Dharmaraja Yudhishthira, how he, after the victory of the Kurukshetra war, how he offered a large, huge sacrifice. And the golden mongoose, half body is golden, it has come there and rolled in the grains, food grains which were leftovers. But still, its body did not turn into gold. So it says, Yudhishthira's sacrifice is not the greatest sacrifice because he could afford, isn't it? He is giving that as a celebration of his victory. But mongoose, half body became golden in a Brahman's house where these Brahmins denied themselves. They went hungry and they fed a guest who came to their house. Because in Hinduism, in our tradition and culture, we feel guest is God, Atithi Devo Bhava. So that sacrifice which the Brahmin family did, they ultimately died with hunger. So Bhagavan says, denying yourself, sacrificing that and enriching others, that is real sacrifice. So this is what Bhagavan was enriching us. And also, Bhagavan is saying now in the 16th verse, he is addressing Arjuna, O Partha, he who does not adopt the prescribed, established cycle lives a life full of sins. Rejoicing in sense gratification, he lives a useless life. This has a very deep meaning about life, this verse. About how we connect to life, how we depend on the universe, and how we affect the whole universe. Yes, this concept that Krishna explains in a few verses here, he is explained in the Upanishad also. See, understand, enriching by default, it's our tattva, actually. It's not a separate subject. See, understand, God manifests itself in the grosser world as Vyakta, the expressed part of God, and how the actions in the grosser world affect the subtler elements. If we just understand this, we will realize that everything that we do and experience is caused by our own actions. We realize that we are the source of everything and therefore responsible for everything that is happening around us and inside us. We invite our destiny. Please understand, as we sow, so shall we reap. Enriching is sowing the seed for the fruit to happen. Please listen carefully. See, even though I am using the same words, 4 words, But these 4 words are given different definitions, different approaches. Why Bhagavan gives us this, See, maybe one method does not click with us. Something else clicks. Because all of us are very unique, isn't it? We are unique. There is no comparison between each person. There is no high or low. All of us are unique by ourselves. So, we don't know which will click to us, isn't it? That is why truth is one. But Bhagavan incarnates again and again and again to give the same truth in different methods so that at least one method will click and will get enlightened. That's the whole goal of Bhagavan, isn't it? See, integrity is the root, authenticity is the tree, responsibility is the fruit, enriching is sharing the fruit to create more fruits. Every person who eats the fruit is responsible for sowing the seed for more fruits to happen, isn't it? If we go on eating, what will happen? One tree. Everything will become empty and nobody will have anything. So understand, that is what Krishna says, O Partha, he who does not adopt the prescribed, established cycle, lives a life full of sins, rejoicing in sense gratification. He lives a useless life. When you do not enrich every person with the fruit of enriching, after constantly being enriched by the sacrifice of the existence, the supreme, your life becomes full of sins and you live a useless, incomplete life. That in turn brings the cycle of more and more incompletions. See, if you are rich, be the ground on which the seed can be sown. You should be the ground on which seed can be sown. If not, at least pour water for the seed to become a tree. If not, at least be a gardener to weed out the unnecessary things for the seed to become fruit again. Either offer your time, talent, or treasure. If you have eaten the fruit, it is your responsibility to make the seed again into a fruit. Isn't it? After eating the fruit, be responsible to sow the seed and make sure the seed again brings more fruits for more people to enjoy. Our body and mind is highly influenced by our thoughts and words. The words you constantly repeat to yourself have to be enriching you and others. Because all of you know, whatever words we hear, we become that. Whatever words we utter, we become that. That is why, see, somebody is sick. Don't repeat the word, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick. Please do not cognize, don't give a label that you are sick. We did that in Sankhya, right? Second workshop. It will leave. Everything will pass. The impermanence. Bhagavan was talking about impermanence. It will pass. That too will pass. And the disease will leave your body. Please unclutch from the word called disease, from the word called sickness, from the group of words called I am sick. Just unclutch from that cognition itself. The words you constantly repeat to yourself have to be enriching you, inspiring you, exciting you, and enlightening you. The words you give to you are ahara, food. What you consume to create life in you. Please understand, the words you give to you are food that you consume to create life in you. Bliss attracts fortune. You may wonder, fortune can bring us bliss. But how can bliss bring us fortune? In India, when any new activity started, Be it a business or a construction or education, the first thing we do is sit down and create the space for a few moments. We close our eyes and remain in a meditative mood, try to bring about some kind of an energy play or transformation inside us. Of course, over the years, this has become a prayer and a ritual. That's a different issue. But the first thing we do is sit down and try to kindle the energy flow, the space of completion inside us. You need to know an important lesson. When you decide to become responsible, the whole cosmos simply listens to you. It simply follows you with responsibility. Understand? Even if you sit with responsibility in one corner, your very space changes the way the world responds to you. So please understand, when you experience the space, when you experience the tattvas, you will be able to relate what Bhagavan is saying. For that, definitely, we should take up something little, small, and we should maintain that with all the 4 tattvas. Then everything else will follow. This really improves the space of completion inside us. We need to know an important lesson. When you decide to become responsible, the whole cosmos simply listens to you. It simply follows you. It simply follows you with responsibility. Even if you sit in one corner, your very space changes the way the world responds to you. Swami Vivekananda says very beautifully, in India, even if we want wealth, we sit under a tree and create the space. It happens around us. He's not talking about earning. He's saying, we sit under the tree and create the space, that's all. Wealth happens around us. He said these words in America, the country which teaches you that you have to work hard to accumulate wealth. If you sit with yourself, you may accumulate peace, but not even a piece of bread. Understand? He says, in India, even to accumulate wealth, we just sit and create the space and it happens. So when you take responsibility, sit by creating the space and be ready to sacrifice. The world will simply move based on your word. The world will move as you want. When the energy flow, the space in us becomes complete. It has the property of influencing and causing external incidents as we want. Whether you believe it or not, accept it or not, like it or not, want it or not, you are deeply connected to existence. You are an integral part of existence, not an independent island as we think. Every subtle movement or subtle thought in one part of the universe causes a counter effect at that same moment elsewhere in the universe. Our thoughts and energy flow have the capacity to create and attract incidents and people of the same nature. What I have said here is age-old truths expounded by our rishis, sages in Upanishad. The Vedic experience. Upanishad means sitting with the master, the Vedic experience. It is interesting that modern science is coming up with some startling evidence that reveals some of these truths now. Dr. Emoto, a Japanese doctor and research scientist, he has written a book, The Hidden Messages in Water. He conducted extensive experiments on water samples taken from all over the world. He took similar samples of water and exposed the water to different influences. One set of samples, he spoke positive words such as love and gratitude. To some, he recited Buddhist chants. To another, he spoke such as anger, war, Then he froze the different water samples so that he could photograph their crystal form. In the samples that had been exposed to positive energy, beautiful clear crystals were formed like diamonds. The water exposed to negative energies did not form into crystals. They looked like a tumor, dark, cloudy, and without any distinct geometrical pattern. Several hundreds of experiments were conducted to prove the effects of the vibrations created by our words and thoughts on matter. Please understand, our whole body is filled with fluids. Just imagine the words we are hearing, the horror movies we are seeing, the pubs we are going, whatever. What is happening? What are we hearing? What will our cellular structure be inside? Imagine. That is why it is necessary to hear the right words. Well, we can't control everybody around us. Either we learn the science of completion and complete them. If we cannot do, at least avoid. At least until we stabilize and learn the completion. Water being the most common molecule in our bodies, we can now see the obvious and dramatic effect our thoughts have on ourselves and others. We don't have to hear anything from outside. Please understand. 2 persons are not needed for politics. We are enough by ourselves. Because morning our mind says something else. Afternoon it says something else. Evening something else. Enough conflicts, enough politics inside. So, our thoughts. What is a thought? A group of words is thought, isn't it? What is our inner chattering? Just imagine the dramatic effect our thoughts have on ourselves and others. It doesn't stop there. Our thoughts have the capacity to affect the oceans and the seas. Recent research by Russian scientists throws an entire new light on how our DNA can be influenced and reprogrammed by words and frequencies. They did experiments where they superimposed certain frequencies onto a laser ray and with it influenced the DNA frequency and thus the genetic information itself. Science is touching now. What our Vedic seers have declared thousands of years ago about collective consciousness. What we do in any plane, physical or mental, expressed or unexpressed, affects our consciousness. So today homework, you have to be really careful what you're hearing and what your inner chattering is going on about. Today just become aware of the inner chatter which is happening. I tell you, we are all part of the common fabric called existence. Our consciousness is a part of the collective consciousness, which also gets affected by our thoughts and actions.